So Ted, you want to?
Yeah, sure. So what I'd like to do is maybe let's just take a step back, and David, if you could just go back and make sure Mike did a great job of covering a lot of issues, but let's make sure that we've talked about the public hearing, and we've talked about the goals of the preliminary hearing, and then of course we'll have the final hearing thereafter. And go to the next slide, David. Again, we've talked about this as well, and that Judge Levy has the ultimate approval to approve the settlement, both in the preliminary stage and as well as the final. And go to the next one, David. One of the things here I wanted to just address that Mike touched on a little bit, and David, actually you did as well early on, is once Judge Levy, hopefully she approves the preliminary approval of the settlement, we will then send out to everyone a registration form, which everyone will need to fill out. And we, as class counsel, want to make sure that we're there for you to help you do this. So once you get those, Teresa, Trishelle, Leslie, myself, Mike, and all of people in our firms will be able to provide you all the guidance and help in order to be able to do that. We don't want you to think that you're on an island by yourself, that you're going to have to suffer through a lot of paperwork. That's not the goal of this. The goal of this is to close out your claims as soon as possible once Judge Levy gives us the okay to do so. And the first step in that will be this registration form, which we have reviewed and have worked on with the court and with the special master. So it's pretty accessible and easy. It'll be up on our website as well. People will be able, I think, to be able to download it as well as being sent to you. So we're there to help you do that. And if you have retained counsel, that is not us in terms of minors, and you have other counsel, again, as David talked about at the beginning, you should go and talk to them. Leave this Zoom meeting if you wish. But if you don't have counsel in terms of your minor, if you have a minor child, we're happy to help in any way we can. We want to facilitate so that everybody can recover and be part of this resolution. And for adults and property owners and business owners as class counsel, and if you don't have counsel, we are your counsel, so we want to be able to help.
And let me add that Ted mentioned that you'll get a registration form, but you also are going to get a notice from the court. And the notice from the court will tell you what your legal rights are. And I'm looking at it right now, the draft that we have submitted to the court for the court's review. And of course, the court will decide the language. That's the court's obligation. The document that I'm looking at has got 17 pages. It's comprehensive. It's written for lay people, for people like you, so you can easily understand what your legal rights are, what your obligations are, what you can do, what you can't do. That document, that court notice is an official court document, and it is very important. And when you get that in your packet, please read it very carefully and very thoroughly so that you understand what all your legal rights are and what your obligations are. That is a vital document that you will be receiving once the court grants final approval, if that's what the court decides to do.
And one of the things, as Mike was saying, is and even though this settlement has gotten a lot of publicity, there are people within the community that really don't know a lot about it yet. So whether your friends, neighbors, family members, if they're not aware of it, please talk to them. Let them know that we're here. Let them know that we're here to help, and that they can come to us anytime to be given guidance and help along these forms if they don't already have counsel. David, you can go to the next slide, please. Again, we've already sort of talked about this, that if following the registration form, Judge Levy will have a final fairness hearing. That's going to be a couple months down the road. And it's the goal of that hearing will be for everybody to express their views about things. The community, lawyers, judge also will have questions. She may have her own experts that she's relying upon to allow the final resolution of this litigation of those parties that have not settled. Go to the next one, David. Thank you. All right, so what is your role and what you can do to help move the process along so that we can rapidly try, once the court and Judge Levy hopefully approves all this, we can get closure and resolution of your claim and get a financial recovery to you. You go to the next slide, Dave. Thank you. We all need to have patience. We're dealing with a large community, over close to 100,000 people that all have potential claims. How many of that number is going to seek to make a claim, register, and get compensated? We don't know yet. Will it be 100%? Probably not, but we hope it's a large percentage so everybody can recover, because everybody that's been affected has a right to get redress for their wrongs. So that's what we want to try and do. But it's a process, and it's going to be a big process. Usually this is class actions like this or cases like this are not so large. So it's a lot of people. We have a lot of resources to put all of these pieces of the puzzle together. So one of the things that we want you to do now, and we're gonna, in the next slide, Dave, if you go there, is for both adults and minors, is to both register when the registration comes out. As Mike talked about, there'll be a claim form that will be provided to you. Again, we'll be there to help you walk through the process. We'll have either come to our office in Flint on the phone, maybe even have a tutorial on Zoom such as this. We could walk people through it. So there'll be plenty of opportunity for everybody to learn the process. And then also there'll be certain types of documents that we're going to want you to get, and it may not be too early yet. I wouldn't worry about doing it during the holiday just right now unless you have some extra free time. But over the next several weeks, you're going to want to get certain things. You go to the next slide, David.
Yeah. So let me add, yeah, the settlement is really family focused. And by that I mean that the settlement program has different damage categories for different folks. Children of the three different ages that I mentioned, the under 6 and under, 6 or 7 to 11, 12 to 17. These are all separate categories, and the damage program will provide for enhanced awards for those who are most injured. And the way to determine who's most injured is by looking at objective evidence, blood lead tests, bone testing. We'll get to that in a minute. But it's a family affair, because in a family of 4, for instance, you might have 2 children, you may have 2 adults. Adults may own the property or may be renters. And so each family will go through the damage categories and select the category that is best for them. And then the family will be then submitting the claims based on how they fit into the damage category. As Ted says, we are here to help you do that. We will meet with you as a family unit. We will help you understand how your family can benefit from this settlement program. You'll find that it's quite beneficial, and that if you work with us, we can make sure that you get the appropriate award in the damage program. So, as the slide indicates, there are certain documents that are going to be required. Maybe Leslie, do you want to pop in and talk about what some of the documents are that would be helpful?